Hello. Welcome to -4, the FPL podcast for stupid football, stupid FPL. I hate it. My name's Dave. And for those of you who weren't with us last week on this show, if you're the losing player in each game week, there is a forfeit. We agreed last week that the losing person from game week 1 would have to drink from their rival team's drinking vessel. It was going to be a mug. I've ended up with a bottle. We decided actually.
They used a bottle in it though.
Yeah. That's right. I thought that gives me some ammunition.
It's something that unites North London in a beautiful way. The bottling.
Yeah. It was Sean's idea. This,
yes,
actually, by the way, to have this as the forfeit. And then after we'd filmed last week in our production office, we were discussing it, and we decided, that's not really harsh enough. So we thought, right, what we'll do is not only does the loser have to drink from the bottle or from the mug or whatever it was going to be, they have to go to that stadium, to the shop, and buy the item in question. So I've had the worst day of my life because I've been to the Emirates today and went to their shop.
The Armory.
Stupid name for a merchandise shop. We've got video footage of it, which we will play once and once only. We'll play it at the end of the show today, and then we will never speak of it again. Hi, guys.
Hello.
How was your week?
Oh, fantastic.
Brilliant. Yeah. Lovely week. Excellent.
Sullivan Brown is here. Sully, Chelsea. Sean, you might want to talk on this in a minute as well. Got 2 Chelsea fans here. You robbed Crystal Palace. They've already been robbed once.
We didn't rob
What
Crystal
was this
Palace.
disallowed goal about?
It was the letter of the law, Dave. Now, sure, it might be a law that none of us knew about and has been around for 6 years, apparently. But, but yes, we all know that you're not meant to get near that wall, and it's definitely been enforced every time a free kick has been taken, I'm sure. So, it was not the greatest start, but I thought Palace would be difficult to break down anyway. So I'm not overly surprised. Because they're all angry about the Europa League stuff, and fair enough. I would be too. I was a bit annoyed, but we didn't break them down. It was a shame.
Sean, how are you doing?
Great week of FPL. Not so much of the result at the weekend. I was there, and it was probably one of the most boring games I've seen for a long time.
Yeah. Have you recovered from the forfeit you had to do last week?
Yeah. I'm recovered. Thanks to Borley ranking me down there, I thought might have to second guess this team and had to make drastic changes to my team, which I said I had a second draft of. So I went on that side and leaves me top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, we'll talk to Bully in a minute. You've got a lot to answer for. Don't be shy. Face the camera.
But yeah, was very boring. One of the worst games I've probably been to. And the VAR stuff is a bit troubling. I feel like every year they just focus on one letter of the law to hammer down on each year. Because if this has been enforced from 6 years ago, I'll be very surprised if that hadn't been done multiple times over the course of the season. So yeah, I feel like they just pick out a rule change, one rule every year, and just focus on it.
I agree.
It is quite funny if you're not a Crystal Palace fan.
They
have, for the second time in a month, had some ludicrous loophole has cost them everything. And then
the Forest owner was doing VAR that day, weren't he?
Yeah, he was.
Exactly.
It was Mr. Marinakis.
Now, anyway, we have a new person on the couch today. This is Jimmy. Jimmy has come straight from 1996. Look at this. West Ham top. This is from the we were saying in the office earlier, this is from the Hearts and Kitson era of West Ham. For those of you old enough to remember when they bought in a couple of strikers in January to keep them up in 97. That was that kit.
It was.
So you're a diehard West Ham fan. Jimmy, tell us about yourself.
My name's Jim. I'm a diehard West Ham supporter. I'm a season ticket holder for my sins. And I like long walks along the beach and cheese.
That's great. That's good to know. Hang on a second. It even tastes disgusting.
Really?
Nothing about this bottle is worth. It's £15 that cost as well.
Plays like 30 league titles.
Whatever.
There's a lot of dust in there, isn't it?
Yeah. See if this is invincible.
No European trophies though.
Yeah, no
European trophies.
They've got a cup in his cup, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we've got 2, but that's fine.
Our policy so far on the -4 show, by the way, has been to keep all Arsenal fans strictly behind the camera.
Yeah.
We're going to try and keep doing that. Jimmy, let's just address the elephant in the room. West Ham start, not great.
No.
Sunderland 3-0. Do you want to explain that to us?
I don't think I can.
No?
No. That was, it wasn't pretty watching. as a West Ham supporter. We had nothing in us at all. Absolutely nothing in us at all. Sorry, I don't know. I apologise. I don't. My mind's going blank.
It's an emotional subject for you.
Yeah,
I can
it is
tell.
a little bit, but it's just,
Yeah.
I don't think they just have the squad.
nah.
I think the squad looks really, really bad. Like, I just saw the match day squad and saw who was out there on the 11 when they took the picture, and it looks like one of those relegation side kind of teams.
See, I've been saying this in our office for weeks. Kieran is our other cameraman behind this camera here, and we've been saying, haven't we,
Yeah,
Sully, that West Ham are going down.
They're going down.
We were saying this before game week 1.
Yeah.
Kieran was using a series of expletives at us for even daring to suggest that might be the case. Because we're way better than Sunderland at least.
Yeah. Well,
Oops.
there we go.
Oops.
It's the first game of the season. I mean, I don't think we're going to go down. I think we'll struggle massively.
Yeah.
There are going to be 3 worse teams than us this year.
Do you think that Potter lasts till Christmas?
Probably not, no.
And
If it carries on like that, I can't see it happening, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
There's a few teams getting drawn into it though now, I think, from the lack of the loss. Well, not so much West Ham. I think they're just poorly recruited and haven't reinforced their squad as much. But obviously Brentford didn't look great on the weekend, and Brentford looked really bad, and especially now that Wissa's refusing to play.
I thought Everton looked bad. We were watching Everton.
Leeds are not bad. They're one of the teams I thought would stay up. I thought Sunderland and Burnley might struggle, but to be fair, Sunderland had a decent performance on the weekend. So
Wolves as well. Wolves not great. So anyway, that's the real world. Let's look at the FPL table. We can't put it off any longer. As you can see, Sean, who was predicted to come bottom of the table last week, has somehow finished in first place out of the 4 of us, plus Bally, our AI robot, who we'll reintroduce you to in just a moment. 73 points for Sean. Jimmy, even though you weren't here last week, we put your team in there. 61. Loving the team name as well. Norfolk Enchants. Got it? Yeah, Sully just got it. There we go.
Very clever, very clever.
Sully, you're on 59, so just below Jimmy. And then we've got Bally.
stinking it up.
Yeah.
Terrible performance.
Also, a very offensive team name. 404 error, you suck, he's called himself. I think that's outrageous.
He needs to say that to himself.
Yeah, so Bally on 51, having predicted himself to have the perfect team for game week 1. And then I'm down in 46 points. So that didn't exactly go well for me. Bally, how are you doing today, buddy? That is deeply offensive.
He's just upset because of his 51 points this week.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Sean, he's with you. He's with you. Let's turn you off.
But Lonnie's not getting away from it either, because Lonnie is not here today, but
Yes.
he's below Dave. So
No.
he is
Yes.
due a forfeit.
How did he get below Dave?
He's below Dave.
They said it was impossible.
Did you see your strikers?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
why
did
he's
see
below
his strikes.
Dave.
I mean, Jesus Christ. What did he end up on, Lonnie? Do we know?
I think he was on like 39, was he?
Bloody hell.
Was he 39, or he might have had points for the game yesterday? I'm not too sure, but probably low in the. I think it was high 39s or 40 on the nose.
Sorry, Sean, I wasn't frowning at you. I just
Yeah, it's the
drank
dust
that
from the bottle,
again.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway. All right, so as I said, I'm bottom of the league, so I will be performing I am performing this stupid forfeit, but we'll also see the video footage from earlier today. Our public league is now up and running. If you want to join us on FPL, you can join the -4 league. The code is HYL8TK. That should be on the bottom of your screen, because Kieran's going to put it in the edit. HYL8TK to join our -4 league. You can follow us on socials as well. We're now up on Facebook, X, Insta, and TikTok, all of them at -4 FPL show. So make sure you join us on there for some bonus bits from the show and all sorts of stuff that will be lovely to watch on your social media. Gentlemen, are we ready for today's Goalmouth Scramble? So, Goalmouth Scramble, for those of you who weren't here last week, what we do is we take 5 of the hottest topics currently being discussed by FPL managers all around the world, and we discuss them until we hear a whistle blow. The whistle will go at regular intervals, and at which point we have to change the subject. 5 topics, and as always, you can send them in to us in the comments on YouTube or on podcast, whatever podcast platform you're using, or indeed on our socials. Any way you want to get in contact with us. If you have any questions you'd like to put in the Goalmouth Scramble, feel free. Gentlemen, should we begin this week's Goalmouth Scramble?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, question 1. Should we take a closer look at players from Leeds and Sunderland, given the results from this weekend. So as we said, Leeds beating Everton 1-0 on Monday night. Sunderland, yeah. Leeds didn't look like they were going to concede against Everton. They were. The question, though, I think, is it in Leeds' case because Everton were dreadful, or is it because Leeds are quite good? Sean, what are you thinking?
I feel like Everton might have a bit of teething problems, obviously, with the new Dewsbury Hall and a couple of additions to the squad. But yeah, it's Leeds. I think were highly energetic. They played at a good pace. They got 2 very fast wingers. I think they got like the signings that they brought in, the big units at the back. They done quite well. I'm not too sure FPL wise if we have to look at them too much. I like the striker Pirro. He had a big chance in the game, but that was about it. They didn't really get much crosses into the box, really successful crosses into the box. But in terms of the contributions defensive wise, obviously across Leeds and Sunderland, obviously you had Goodmanson and he put up a decent return. And was it the Ballard at Sunderland? He got 17 points because he got his goal, clean sheet and bonus points. So yeah, but yeah, I feel like either of the teams. I think the Mayanda guy that played up front for Sunderland. Obviously, I've got Mark Yu on my bench. Even when it came down to the substitutions, they didn't look to Mark Yu. They looked for the other striker option as well. So he might be third in the pecking order down at Sunderland. So if you're going to go with Mayanda, he obviously got his goal start of the season. He didn't have a great return from last season. Probably why people didn't know whether or not he was going to start or not. But he got his debut goal in the Premier League. So
he had Mark Yu as your reserve striker of choice, which is I think is a great reason not to pick him because obviously
yeah. But yeah, I'm not too sure on focusing on the plays for FPL wise yet. They've both played sides that never perform well, and they're obviously going to come up against a lot more difficult opposition. So the defensive side of things, they probably won't get them same replications of points from Goodmanson and Ballard, but also on the offensive side, it weren't the greatest of offensive players from a single person. So, yeah.
Jimmy, you saw Sunderland up close, obviously. What do you reckon? Is there anyone, result aside, anyone who you thought from a strictly shrewd FPL point of view you might nick?
From Sunderland?
Yeah.
Definitely no one from West Ham. I think you'd have to go with Ballard just because of what he offers in set pieces. We don't ever win the first game of the season anyway, so I'm not too upset by it. But
no, you look really happy.
I'm over the moon. But I think if you look back on Sunderland's first 2 fixtures, we've got West Ham and then they've got Burnley next.
Yeah.
I think it's well worth keeping your Sunderland players in if you've got them. Leeds, I'm not too sure about. Yes, Everton was very, very poor last night.
Yeah.
No shots on goal at all, playing so deep. And then they've got Arsenal next. It's probably not going to get...
No.
It's
not
probably not going to be a good time for them. So I wouldn't put, personally, anyone in my team from Leeds for the next fixture.
Right. Leeds and Sunderland, both those squads, Sully, none of the players anywhere on the field cost more than 5.5 million. With looking at how both teams played, you've got to be thinking about them, right?
I think certainly as a cheap bench option, and when they're playing, like how Sunderland are playing Burnley next week, maybe you slip in a Ballard or something like that, and go, I'll take a punt on that. But I think if you want to keep the cost down of your team, then it's good to have them on the bench to have it. Like they might pick up a few points if somebody picks up an injury unexpectedly or something like that. But otherwise, I would say you don't want to be having them in your team every single week because they are gonna. I do actually think both Leeds and Sunderland will. I feel more and more like they might stay up. But I don't think they're going to be winning every single week. They're just going to be getting the odd points. And Ballard's like...
He had 4 shots, did he have? He had 4 shots total.
It was ridiculous.
For a centre half.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Which is definitely got to be put down, yeah. So.
All right, well, whistle just went. Anyway, let's move on to our next question. This is good because we can have a go at these idiots. Gyökeres, rubbish, wasn't he? Keep him or sell him. I'll give you the stats, Sully, then you can lay into him as much as I want to. Expected goals, his XG... 0.00 on Sunday, and his expected assists 0.06. He made it 59 minutes, and they gave up on the whole thing. And hopefully that's them done for another season. We can fill up this bottle with Arsenal fans' tears. What did you think of him?
Yeah, I think. I would never have him in my FPL team at the beginning of the season. Anyway, he's somebody that if he was suddenly in a purple patch of form, then maybe I might pick him up later. I think it's always a risk to go for any big new signings like Gyökeres or Šeško or anyone like that. Gyökeres is a weird one because I've always thought, profile-wise, he would really work in the Premier League. But there's a there's a vibe thing in my mind where I'm like, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. But it doesn't make any sense because he's got the physicality, he's got the pace, he's got all that kind of stuff, but he's a great finisher. But I don't think he's going to
Remember
work.
when Timo Werner came over?
Oh,
everyone was like,
lovely
this is the new
Timo.
golden boy.
He's going to be amazing. And he was, because he won the Champions League. And that's all that matters, that he won the Champions League. Yes, sure, when he tried to point at the Chelsea badge, he also missed. But that's fine.
Yeah, that was a great picture.
That was
one.
fantastic.
That was
He's
a great
pointing
picture.
just below the Chelsea badge. He can't even get it on target when pointing. But he was a lovely boy and he worked very hard. And then he went to Spurs, and we don't talk about him as much.
And now Tottenham are champions of Europe, so maybe we were missing something.
Yeah,
so.
sort of, yeah. In a sense.
Jimmy, Gyökeres,
I've never had him in my side. I don't think I'd ever have him in my side. He's
Ever?
No, he's an Arsenal player.
so okay, this is interesting. Hang on.
Yeah,
Hold the phone here.
okay,
So just
yeah,
northern teams players.
Yeah. I want to know what's the Jimmy policy, right? So are there like clubs where you won't put the
I'm
players
going to
in?
have to backtrack now because I've actually got an Arsenal player in my side.
Right.
I wouldn't
So
have
it's
him.
not a strict rule.
No, it's not a strict rule. It's very, very loose.
very loose.
I think just because of where he's come from, I think he's going to have to take a while to get used to the pace of the Premier League. I don't think he's a good purchase. A load of Arsenal supporters are going to put him in there because he's an Arsenal player, but he's not for me.
I put him in that. Well, and I came last, so that again
There you
tells
go.
you everything you need to know. Sean, this is really the sort of the bit on which they're hinging their whole season. Arsenal, we've been talking about them needing a centre forward, someone to score the goals for them for a long time. I've heard a lot of stuff on the radio the last few weeks about how Arsenal have had an absolutely stellar transfer window. Maybe not.
Yeah, well, he was in my first draft of when I was predicted to be bottom of last week, and probably he got it right because that XG and the involvement from him in the game was quite poor. It's what we see on the TV and what we watch on games in Portugal. The speed and pace of the games ain't as quick and as fast and strong than in the Prem, and he looked very, very sluggish. Loads of pictures of him in Timberland boots, and that's like how they done with Romelu Lukaku. Anyone who struggles to run on a pitch, they put Timberland boots on him on a picture, and that's how it goes. But yeah, didn't really look mobile enough, I think, for his first game. Definitely didn't look match sharp, but I think everyone was just sold on the fact that he scored 90 plus goals in the 2 seasons. You're thinking, maybe if he's not necessarily physical or stuff like that, he should be able to finish, but you need to take shots to finish, and having an XG of 0.00 means he literally had 0 shots.
I guess if we're going to be fair to Arsenal, let's talk about that. They did win the game.
Yes.
And Arteta seemed relatively happy with Gyökeres' contribution for a first go.
I don't think I would be happy.
No.
Considering he took him off at 59 minutes, he didn't even get the bonus points to be able to get the extra bonus point of 60 minutes played. So, yeah, I don't think people would have been happy with that. But drawing to Havertz that early on, I think maybe he was needing something a bit more defensive. I feel like Arteta just, as soon as he scored that first goal, he just said, right, we're just going to get here, settle down. Because when they went into a back and forth like transition kind of game with them in the previous games, they'd lost to them 3-1. I felt like once they took that 1-0 lead, he was like, you know what, we'll just sit here. We're defensively sound anyway. Take the 3 points and just get out of here.
It worked, unfortunately. Newcastle is the next question. Whistle just went. Are Newcastle toothless without Isak? Newcastle had the biggest deficit of anyone in terms of XG versus goals this week. They were expected to at least score and certainly did not. Felt like there's no cutting edge there whatsoever, Jimmy, did it?
No. But I expect you players like Gordon, Jacob Murphy, Harvey Barnes to step up now.
Yeah.
They're all going to have something to prove. They're all going to want that spot. So I think one of them will step up. I don't think they'll be toothless. I think they'll do all right.
Well, I'm thinking, I don't know what you guys think about this. Like, so you look at Anthony Gordon, right? 7.5 million, decently priced. You got Elanga, 7, Harvey Barnes, 6.5. They're all on the face of it, pretty solid choices in FPL. But looking at how they played against Villa, you do just think, like, if there's no one on the end of any of this, these guys aren't going to get assists. They're not going to get any of that. So, like, from an FPL perspective, they've suddenly become a lot less attractive as a prospect, I think, after what we saw against Villa, Sully.
Yeah. I agree. I think the problem Newcastle have right now is how do you solve a problem like Alexander Isak? Because I don't know I don't think they're really going to be able to sell him, and if they can't sell him, who are they going to bring in? Will they have the money? I don't know about the PSR stuff. And if they're not going to be able to get that, like I've got Langer in my team, and I've realised, maybe actually this was a silly, foolish, idiot decision. And he's on the cusp of going out of my team entirely for in the next few weeks. But it's just, if you haven't got anyone who's going to finish, you really, really struggle to have those players around them. And also, when you've got a player like Isak, he's so difficult to deal with. It means the other players have a lot more freedom and space. When you haven't got that player who's that difficulty in the middle, then you don't. It reminds me of Drogba when you played for Chelsea. He was so difficult to deal with that Lampard could come in and score 20 goals a season very easily. I think Newcastle players they're for the chopping.
And the trouble as well, Sean, presumably, is if they don't get the money for Isak, and it looks like they might not, because you could understand why Liverpool might not be interested now, with Ekitike looking pretty good Friday night. Like, there's no one else coming in for Isak, so they're not going to get the money, so they can't then go and get Wissa or whoever else they might want. I think Newcastle might have some serious problems.
Yeah, the communication between the club and the player always has to be very, very tight, and they both have to have an understanding of how much money they can get out of each other, knowing that if they don't make it publicly known that he really wants to leave. I feel like in-house you should always have a conversation if they want to leave early, and don't let it get out to the public, and then sort that out behind closed doors.
It's not their fault though, right? I mean,
it's not really.
He hasn't conducted himself well.
He hasn't conducted himself well, but if they dealt with it, because don't get me wrong, his attitude and stuff like that looks a bit problematic, but they should know that anyway from early, so that once it did get to the pre-season and stuff like that, try and sit down with him, talk it out, see if he's work. Like, you have to keep them things in house for the value to stay high. Because if you let the player come out and he wants to force a move and says he's refusing to play with the team, it only drives down the value of the player. So that kind of communication is key to keep him kind of quiet and then go behind closed doors and try to get the deal for as much as they can out of it. But yeah, they did look toothless without him being up there, and it kind of also just it takes Anthony Gordon's game out. So for what you lose from Isak, you're also losing from Anthony Gordon, because Anthony Gordon has proven that what he does at Newcastle is good enough out on the wing. Yeah. Elanga's obviously just come in as a new replacement. Harvey Barnes also performs quite well. Me personally, I always wanted Harvey Barnes in my team when he was at Leicester, and I wanted him to have more game time when he was at Newcastle. Obviously, you had Jacob Murphy play on the other side, and Gordon Elliott would play on the other side, so Harvey Barnes was limited. Now they've got Elanga in, Harvey Barnes might be even more limited, but as of now, with Gordon playing down the middle, it's causing a lot of disruption between their front three, and I think that's why they're not scoring the goals, because Isak does draw out a lot of plays. He knows how to pick out. Anthony Gordon does do the movement stuff, pull out wide and stuff like that, pull out in the pockets, but his instinct in and around the box, it's not there as Isak. So they didn't even have a striker on the bench to look to substitute. So it's not even like they have a squad striker in place. They'd have to go to the youth reserves or something like that to find one.
I have to cut you off because we just moved on, but yeah, agreed. 100% Newcastle, big problems, I think. Last week we talked about defensive contributions and the fact that that's now something you can score points for in FPL. Question we've got now is, what should we make then after 1 week with game week 1? And if we take a look at it, we've got on the screen here, there's 15 defenders who got 10 or more defensive contributions this week, so we've got 2 extra points. We've also got 10 midfielders who managed it. No attackers whatsoever got close to remember, for midfielders and attackers it's 12, not 10, but still none of them got anywhere close to that. From a range of teams as well, so like there's Burnley in there, for example, who got beaten 3-0 by the European champions. Can't blame them for that. But then there's teams who won. there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason for who's. Is it teams who are just so dominant that, or is it teams that are having to defend loads? There doesn't seem to be any.
Well, you got a big variation of it. Got a big variation of it, really.
Precisely. So, has anyone got any thoughts on does that affect your strategy going into week 2? Are you thinking about defensive contributions, or is it just a nice extra 2 points if you get the chance, Jimmy?
No, I always see, because this is my first fantasy team in about 10 years.
Right. So
it's completely different to me now. I'm learning as I'm going along. And to be quite honest, I'm just still seeing my points coming from my strikers and my midfielders.
Yeah.
If my defenders get clean sheets, then...
But isn't that more than ever, Sean, we'll come to you, isn't that more than ever not the right strategy, right? Because what this addition has done in the scoring is to make it more valuable to have defenders. So whereas previously a lot of us were, spending 4.5 million on each of our 5 at the back, it's kind of incentivising us now to spend a bit more, isn't it?
Yes, but if you then look at the team and the teams that are on that board and the players who are on that board, I think it's more just the player profiles themselves and the way that they play is important for this defensive contribution stuff, because you have a range of teams players on here, from Van der Berg at Brentford and Ballard at Sunderland all the way to Virgil van Dijk at Liverpool. So it's more of the fact that if you can get in players that are involved in the defensive contribution side of things, if you get them from the bigger sides that also do get clean sheets, that's obviously massively important, because Virgil van Dijk, on most days, he might be able to get more of clean sheets than a team like Van der Berg from Brentford. So maybe you look at the types of players. Ait Nouri obviously in there, very highly combative. Like Cucurella, I'm pretty sure Cucurella got contribution points as well. Defensive contribution. He's not on that list, but I'm pretty sure he did. But like certain types of players, Ait Nouri as well as a wing back, he's going to be involved in a lot of tackling high up the pitch. And obviously the centre halves that are the lumpet kind of headed geezers at the pack, they're the kind of ones like De Ligt and Dan Burn and Fabian Schär. So you got to definitely keep an eye out on some of the better players in the league from the better teams who are involved in this stuff, because it's like a guaranteed extra 2 points every week, and 2 points are massive.
Sullivan, you're a very cerebral FPL player. You've always got, you're thinking 3 steps ahead.
Oh, thank you.
How has this defensive contribution thing and what we've seen the results of it from week 1 affected the master plan?
Well, I think Sean summed it up really nicely. Actually, it's like it actually forces you to really actually watch how players play, and notice how they actually play the game. It makes you analyse the game on a deeper level, which I'm all for in terms of the FPL. I want that more and more and more, and makes you go, okay. Because look, if you look at this as well, there's only what, Lenny Yoro and De Ligt from Man United, and then Schär and Burn from Newcastle. But other than that, I don't think there are any other repeats of the same team on that whole list. So, Mitchell and Lacroix, yeah. But like, there's very few repeats. So it shows that it's actually not really down to your team performance. It's down to the player themselves, and I think that's really, really great. And what you want to do is you want to try and couple that up with a player who's also going to get a clean sheet, and then you're in the money.
All right, now last topic for today. And speaking of team performances, very simple question. Should you panic if you've already had a terrible first week? Jimmy.
Thanks, Dave.
You've come second in our table.
I didn't have a bad week.
It wasn't a bad week, and yet, as we'll see when we do our team reveals in a minute, you've wild-carded.
I panicked.
You have panicked.
Talk us through
I did.
this. I want to know the thought process from I've got 59 points, whatever it was, this
61.
week. 61, sorry, I don't want to sell you short, to that's not enough. I'm going to use one of the 2 wild cards I have for the entire season in week 2.
Right, in my defence, my first week was always going to be a bit of a filling out process.
Yeah.
And once I saw that Kirkes didn't start and Gvardiol was injured, I had to make changes. And I didn't want to lose points.
But why not make 2 changes and just lose the 4 points?
What's the point in that? There's no fun, is there? And I didn't particularly want to drink from the Millwall Cup, so I used my wild card so I wouldn't lose any points.
Is this what it comes down to ultimately? It was panic.
It was.
You're like, you
did.
don't
It was
want...
Kirkes did start, wasn't he?
I got 0 points.
No, because he conceded 2 goals.
Conceded 2 goals.
Oh,
You saw 0 and thought he never started.
I did.
Yeah.
This is the thing where I didn't. I've got to be honest. I didn't watch the Liverpool game. Not a big fan of Liverpool myself, so
You just thought 0 was the
and then
non-appearance.
he's got to go. I'd imagine him. I see him in my fantasy team, and I just saw him running down that wing and putting balls into the box from our strikers, and nothing. So I took him out.
So because Kirkes didn't get you
rubbish.
any points.
Rubbish. He's gone. He had to go. Gvardiol got injured, so I had to do that.
As more seasoned FPL players, can either of you offer any words of encouragement to Jimmy on this? I think it's a maverick decision, we can say.
Yeah, I think if you're consistently under the average performance, like after the first few weeks, then maybe there's some major structural changes you need to make to your team. But if you're above average, you're okay. It's all okay. Like, you can make enough changes to be able to make it into a really good team in a fairly short while if you're above average. That's my advice, I would say. If you're like, scoring like our dear friend who I forgot the name of, who came along last week. I can't remember.
Lonio.
If you're scoring like Lonio, of course you should be wild carding. You're crazy.
What, straight away?
Yeah, well, maybe not straight away, but in the first few weeks. But
Sean, is there any circumstance in which you would wild card in week 2?
Only if the performances of the players that you really thought were going to hit the ground running, like the Gokareses, and you had about 3 or 4 of them, maybe. But I predict everyone to have already built their team around the first 5 to 6 game weeks at least.
Yeah.
So obviously there's people that are looking at their teams for next week, and obviously Liverpool run into difficult fixtures within the next 2 games, and people are seeing them red squares and thinking, oh, these are difficult fixtures. But you're never meant to panic by seeing the colours of things. Sometimes you just, certain players and certain teams are always going to get results, whether the game is difficult or not. If they're going to win the league, they're going to have difficult games. They're going to have to pull through it anyway. So I wouldn't panic just as yet, because the wild cards, we've always had 2 of them throughout the 2 years, throughout the years. So you're going to have one, and I always tend to try and keep it as late to Christmas as possible, because then at least then on the back end of the season, when it comes to the last 5 or 6 games, then you can wild card your team and then build around it for the last 5 or 6 games of the season. If you wild card now, even though we've got the bench boosts and the free hits and stuff like that added to the first half of the season, it's only 1 game week.
Yeah.
With this, you're going to have to see out for another 17.
Sure.
Jimmy, the whistle's gone, but I'm going to let you. Go on.
So wait till you
Defend yourself.
Wait till you see my team, and then you'll understand why I use a wild card. There was players in there that didn't even start.
Let's refer to the artificial intelligence, the supercomputer that is Bully. Bully, have you got any thoughts on this? Well, that's not nice. He's new. But is there anything else you'd like to say to Jimmy?
Oh, he's just...
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
car
he's
crash.
had enough.
He's had enough.
had enough.
He's had
just
enough.
Had enough.
Poor old
He's
boy.
had such a bad week himself. He's just, yeah.
Oh, no, he's all right.
Whenever
isn't it?
Sean talks, he loves it.
Yeah, he
thinks
knows
you're
who the winner is.
funniest guy.
That's why.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Well, that's the end.
That was
of
like the
today's-
Squid Game ending
Yeah.
of when he threw himself off the side.
Yeah.
That's the end of today's
Spoilers
Goalmouth
for Squid
Scramble.
Game.
Spoiler
Season
alert! If you
3.
haven't watched Squid Game yet.
All right, well, you stay down there. Anyway, that's the end of today's Goalmouth Scramble. Congratulations, everyone. We made it. We made it through.
We did it.
Where's my stupid? By the way, this now is... I've drunk 2/3 of it, and look. I can't even get anything out of it now. The straw doesn't even work.
Go and refill it.
Yeah, we'll have to refill it.
£15. What are you doing?
Is it made of metal or plastic?
It's
So
made
the
of-
straw come up.
It's made of recycled rubbish. That's what it's
the
made
straw
of.
come up short,
So
just a
then-
bit like Arsenal themselves, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Right, it's time for this week's quiz. Gentlemen, you will find under the table, as we've had last week,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
3 whiteboards with 3 marker pens.
Thank you.
Last week we had a 5-question quiz, an exhilarating quiz, I would say, on the opening weekend. This week, in honour of how well our newly promoted teams have done, we're having a 5-question quiz on newly promoted teams in the Premier League.
Oh, dear.
Let's see how we go here. All right, question 1, you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
In the 29 seasons since the Premier League has had its current format, which is 20 teams in the league with 3 going down, that started in 96-97. So since then, how many times have all 3 newly promoted teams survived? So out of 29 seasons, how many times have all 3 of the teams who come up survived? Give me a number. Tricky one. If we're working backwards, we can say for the last 2 seasons they all went down. So the last 2 certainly didn't work. So it's a maximum of 27 times.
I think there's one of 2 answers.
Any thoughts,
here.
Jimmy? You got something?
Of the extremes.
Yeah.
Okay, we all got something? All right, Jimmy, you can go first. What have we got?
I've guessed 1.
Once only. Okay. Sure.
1 as well.
1.
I guess it's never happened.
Yeah.
It's never happened.
It sounds like one of those extreme things to say that it's just never happened.
It has happened 4 times.
What?
Wow. Must have
2001,
been
2,
early.
2011, 12, 27, 18, and most recently, it happened in 22, 23, where Fulham, Bournemouth, Forest all came up and stayed up.
Oh my goodness.
And they were the most recent of years. I thought it would have been from the longer period of time, like 90s.
I was thinking the proper age of football.
Yeah, when
The
football,
90s.
when football was football, when men were men.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
thought it would have been a bit more of a struggle for them to stay up back then. So
Also,
yeah.
kind of bizarre. As I said, the last 2 seasons, all 3 have gone down, and then the season immediately before that, everyone stayed up. Odd. It's happened more that they've all stayed up than they've all gone down. It's only 3 times ever that they've all gone down, and 2 of those are the last 2 years. The other one was in the 90s. So
I hope it doesn't happen
there
again.
we go. All right, question 2. In 2024, who became the only newly promoted team to be relegated from the Premier League after scoring more than 100 points in the Championship the previous season? So there's a team last year who scored 100 points in the Championship, then came up and got relegated anyway. Who was it?
Oh my God, who got relegated last year?
They got promoted.
This is recent.
Season before.
So they got
last.
promoted in 22-23 in the Championship, and then they got relegated in 2024, despite having scored over 100 points in the Championship.
Why has my head gone blank?
What club is that?
My head went completely blank about who actually got promoted. I was like, who was...
I'm trying to think who got relegated last year.
Who got relegated last year?
It's a long time ago, 12 months.
Hold on, so they got relegated. The season just gone.
So they came up in 22-23. They got over 100 points in the Championship. Then a year later, 2024, they got relegated from the Premier League. What club are we talking about?
Right, I think I've got it.
It can't be
Couple more seconds. So have you got something?
Why have I lost?
I've got something. I don't know whether I spelt it correctly.
Yeah. Well,
I've lost track.
Let's
of
find out. Sully,
who
what have
came
you got?
down.
I've gone for Leicester City.
Leicester City.
Yeah, I went with Leicester, but I don't know if they was down.
No.
I went with Burnley.
Burnley.
Yes, it could be them.
Leicester.
No, Burnley are back.
Leicester have just gone down in 2025.
Vincent
So they
Kompany
couldn't have
season.
gone down in 2024.
Oh, it's 20. Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, we've done the same thing
You
there.
two have forgotten what year it is.
Yes.
That's what the problem is. We're in
Yes.
the year 2025, and that means that Jimmy is correct, and it was Burnley.
Yes.
Vincent
Oh,
Kompany
we've got a
season,
Vincent
already,
Kompany.
first
Yeah.
season.
Of course. Well, we've made the same mistake there. So in a sense, it's the questions problem,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't.
In a more
Focus
real
on the
sense,
question.
though.
In a more real sense, I thought it was in 2024 they scored the 100 goal.
Yes.
That's what threw me off because I was trying to think of the. I was like, it can't be Leicester. Leicester was there in 22-23, but I was like,
So they got 101 points, did Burnley in 2023, and then managed just 24 in the Premier League, finished 19th last year. This year, both they and Leeds came up with 100 points, so they could do the same thing again. Who knows? We'll find out. Question 3. What is the lowest points total that any team has survived with since the current format of the league began in 96? So not just newly promoted teams. Any team, what is the lowest points total that a team has scored and still stayed up? The pained look on everyone's face as they're thinking about it.
remember
Actually, well, Sean was kind of confident.
no.
I
but
remember
no.
this. Was
It's
it?
going to be below the average, but not massively
It was
below the average.
recently,
I don't
wasn't it?
think.
Because the three that went down last, the three that went down last year went down on very low points.
Was it though? Was it in that amazing season, the best relegation scrap ever, where there were 4 teams and all of them could have gone down? Was it West Bromwich Albion with 36 points?
Wow. I also went with 36
I've gone with 28 for some reason. I think this is a recent one.
to stay up.
Sullivan.
Yes.
It was West Bromwich Albion, but that wasn't the question, was it? The question was the number of points.
But that's impressive and good.
That was
knowledge,
very
though,
good.
isn't it?
That was very, very
It
impressive.
was the season you're talking about
Thank
as
you very
well,
much.
which is 2004, 2005.
Best last day of the
when
season
the
ever.
3 teams that went down were Southampton on 32,
Yep.
Palace on 33, Norwich on 33, which left West Bromwich Albion on 34.
Fucking
So
so
you're
close.
So you're incorrect.
I was so close.
Jimmy, this isn't a bonus point,
It does
Jimmy.
look like
no bonus point.
Keep it fair.
But just as an extra, as a little extra here, what's the highest points total anyone's gone down with?
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Dave. 42 points with West Ham.
Oh, I'm a funny guy.
He was just about writing that out automatically when the question was being asked,
Yeah.
but then it was a
that
different
under
question.
Glenn Roeder? Was that time?
It's 03, it was 2003.
Yeah,
I think Trevor Brooking took over for him.
Oh,
in the
yes,
season,
of
didn't
course,
He? We went
yes.
down last game of the season in Birmingham. I got laughed out of the pub.
42 points. Unbelievable.
What a great
I like
side
that
as well.
you personally
crazy.
got laughed
Joe
out of
Cole,
about.
I was with a load of Millwall supporters and all.
Something very funny
Oh,
about
dear.
that. I imagine you in
I
a
wouldn't-
sea of West Ham fans.
I wouldn't have
You're the
minded,
only
but
one.
it was
Jimmy,
just
get out.
It was just me, my mum and my dad.
Oh, my goodness.
Right,
Question
Jimmy's in the
4.
lead. It's
Jimmy is in the
1-0.
lead. Yeah.
We're
1-0
doing
nil.
We're doing
Yeah, it's
terribly
low
here.
scoring, but here we go.
I got all the other details
last
of
week.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, I know,
yes.
yeah, and we did well in the quiz.
Everything around the answer there, Sally,
I
was
know
correct.
how.
Except the
That was
answer
accurate.
itself. Right, question 4. In the history of the Premier League, since 1993, 2 teams have finished 3rd in the season after being promoted. Sorry, they finished 3rd in the Premier League straight after getting promoted. So they've come up and then finished 3rd in the Premier League. Name either of those 2 teams.
Wow.
So twice in Premier League history, a team has come up and then managed to be 3rd in the Premier League.
Finish 3rd.
Yep.
I think I have both of them.
Okay.
But I'll give my first one as the answer, and then if I get the second one, I want kisses from everyone in the room. Thank you.
Yes.
What?
Can it be like a
doing horribly
blown
wrong.
kiss, not like a physical contact
You
kiss?
can choose whatever type of kiss
Okay,
you like.
great. Well, we'll come to Sully last, because if he thinks he's got him, that might ruin any of the jeopardy here. So let's see. Jimmy, what you got?
I think I might have both of them.
Okay, let's see.
I've gone for Nottingham Forest and Newcastle.
Okay. What we got, Sean?
I've only gone with one team. I could only think of one team, and that was Leeds.
I only asked you for one, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Sully?
I could be wrong about this. Is it Norwich City and Ipswich Town? They both had amazing seasons coming up for the Championship. But certainly Norwich City would be my answer.
One of you has got both of them correct. So, Sean, you're out.
Yes,
Leeds.
definitely. Definitely.
Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. Newcastle in 93-94, that team that was spearheaded by the Andy Cole, Peter Beardsley strike partnership. And then the following year, just 1 year later, 95, Stan Collymore got 22 goals for Nottingham Forest. Frank Clark's Nottingham Forest side, remember him? Wow.
I'm a damn fool. Well, we're all going to have to kiss Jimmy now.
Yeah. There's no option.
There's no option.
There's no option.
There's no option.
Question 5. Last question in this week's quiz. This weekend, two of the three promoted teams won. Last year, though, until which game week did we have to wait last season until any of the promoted teams, Leicester, Ipswich, or Southampton, got a win? So in game week 1 this season, we had 2 of the 3 teams win. By the way, that's only the second time in history that's happened, that 2 of the 3 teams have come up won. But last year, we had to wait until which game week until any of the promoted teams won a game?
It was a long time.
Can I do a number or another number? Can I?
You can, but you won't get any points.
Well, don't ask a question, you don't get an answer, dear.
All right, you got some in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone for a risk here, because it might be too long. I've gone for game week 12.
That is bold. Yeah.
I went game week 9.
Yeah.
I went 7.
Jimmy. Game week 7's correct.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable.
Leicester beat Bournemouth 1-0 on the 5th of October. But that was one of only 12 wins that the 3 promoted teams got between them throughout last season.
I knew it was Leicester because I knew Ipswich didn't have their first home win against us until, well, they had it against Chelsea.
Yeah.
So I knew it was Leicester, but I just didn't know what game week it was. But I knew it weren't that long. But
So by the way, like 59 points combined for the 3 promoted teams last season, which is comfortably the worst in Premier League history. And the second worst was last year. So the gap between those who are coming up and the rest of the league is getting bigger,
But
unfortunately.
if you put them 3 together, it's still more points than Tottenham.
Yes, but less European trophies.
I suppose.
Fewer.
Fewer.
Sorry, as soon as I said that, I thought Sullivan's about to correct me on my grammar. See if I can get any more water out of this.
You were correct.
All right, so congratulations, Jimmy. A debut win on the quiz. Now it's time to reveal our squads for the coming week. Obviously, normal disclaimer here, it's Tuesday as we're recording this, and it is yet possible that we may make several adjustments. Sean made multiple ones after being sternly reprimanded and given the forfeit by Bawley last. Bawley is here, by the way. He's crawled back over.
yeah, back to life.
With his tail between his legs, if he had one. Bawley, talk to us. Let's have a look at your squad.
Very nice.
Now, what he's saying here, as you may have just been able to interpret, is that Bawley believes in his super intelligent brain that his team last week was so good, he's made no transfers.
Right.
Which is interesting,
Yep.
because he came 4th out of the 5 of us, despite algorithmically supposedly picking the best team. He's changed who the 11 are, but the 15 are exactly the same. Is this bold? Is it gutsy, sticking with his instincts here?
It's certainly gutsy, but then, I mean, looking at the team, it's not. Well, you've got Salah and Palmer, which feels like a fairly, standard ones. I don't know why he's got some of these choices in here. I suppose Fernandes had that difficult game against Arsenal, and then who are United playing next? It doesn't seem. Oh, it does say Fulham.
Fulham.
Okay, so maybe you'll have some joy there. I mean, it's an all right team, but I don't know how you can look at that first week as Bawley and think, I'm pretty much there.
But that's why you don't understand, Sully, isn't it? Your mere human brain cannot comprehend.
This is true.
All the different calculations Bawley is doing. Let's have a look, if we can, at the next one. If we can drop down here using our high-tech skills here.
This is myself.
This is Sullivan. Do you want to explain to us? So Sully, you have gone Just compared to your team last week, you've taken out Conser.
Yeah.
And you've put in Ballard.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk us through that?
Well, Conser was injured, and I thought, oh well.
Conser got sent off.
Oh, he got sent off. Oh,
Yes.
I'm a fool. I'm a damned fool. He wasn't in my starting 11 anyway, so I wasn't really paying attention to Conser. And then I thought, well, I need a cheap player, cheap defender, fantastic Ballard, 4.5 million. He got 17 points, and I thought, I'm not going to stick him in the team. Maybe I will swap him with Wan-Bissaka because I don't trust West Ham to do anything this season, and they are playing Burnley next. But other than that, I think that's my team for the future. Though I may go at some point. This was a foolish decision to put 3 Chelsea players in because I'm always cursed when I put Chelsea players in because Chelsea don't play well when I put Chelsea players in, and so I have to take them out, and I probably will have to take them out with the wild card in a few weeks.
We should, by the way, tell people, for those who are listening on audio, what the team is. So Pickford, Munoz, Cucurella, Aina and Wan-Bissaka as a back 4. Mo Salah, Cole Palmer, Rodgers from Villa, and then Wood,
Raúl
Jimenez and João Pedro.
João Pedro.
So he's 2 this week.
Yeah.
Should we have a look at Sean's?
Yes. Let's have a look.
Oh, actually, yeah, we will. But actually, as we do that, I should have said, Bally has rated our teams again.
Oh, yes.
And obviously this week, the forfeit is not to do with that. It's going to be to do with who actually gets the least points. But he's given himself 62 points on the team that was unchanged.
It's reaching now.
What did he predict himself to get first week?
80 odd.
It was like 81 or something. Well, it was something high.
Yeah.
He was an optimist. He's come down a little bit this week, but
Manages
he
expectations.
still thinks he's the best of the 5 of us.
As
by
he
the
will.
way.
Of course he does. He's an egotist.
Sully,
He's
he's
an
given
narcissist.
you 59.
59. Okay, that's 59's fine.
Now, Sean,
59's
this
not
one,
bad,
I don't know what you've done to Bally. Although he laughs at your jokes, when it comes down to the bread and butter of your actual team, he's not a fan. He's given you 57, which I'll tell you now is the lowest of all of us.
This is unbelievable.
Like
why does Sean...
I don't know what I've done to him.
Sean, do you want to, first of all, can you read your team for us, for those
Yes,
listening?
obviously I've gone with Petrovic in goal against Wolves. I think he's probably the better of the fixtures with him and Dubravka. I've got Cucurella starting against West Ham. I think right now, everyone would be wanting to play West Ham. Sorry, Jim.
You're not, otherwise you wouldn't have said it.
But Van der Ven, obviously he's got a tricky fixture against Man City. I was expecting to play Conser against Brentford, but obviously he is suspended. So I'm having to be forced to play Van der Ven. Obviously I had to make a sub. I took Dorgu. I brought Dorgu into my team. He looked like as if he was very attacking for Man United on the weekend in their system. Salah, Palmer, Reinders, Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall I was a bit let down by. Maybe I might change him in the future to go with one of the more defensive contribution players that are at kind of similar prices. Reinders was great for me on the weekend. Kudus as well was very good. Hopefully the Man City game is a high scoring game and maybe I might get the contribution points from Van der Ven. I want that game to finish 5-5.
That's who we are, mate.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Tottenham love a high-scoring game, and obviously Man City are very attacking. So stuck with the Man City boys still in there. Haaland, obviously, I've gone with my team with Salah and Haaland in it, even though I never had them in there from last week. And João Pedro, hopefully he gets to start against West Ham and gets given his second chance, because obviously on the weekend he didn't get many chances. So yeah, I still think it's a very solid team for the weekend. I don't know how Bordy's predicted me for 57 points and the lowest of everyone.
All right, let's take a look at Jimmy's team. Jimmy, as we've already established, it's a wild card team, so you've got 3 reigns as long as you stay within your 100 points. Bally has only given you 1 more point than Sean. Gave Sean 57. He reckons you're getting 58. Now I know because you're wild carding, you're making changes all the time, like we all were in game week 1. So I think you've made another one since then. Let's read through. So it's Pickford, Gabriel, Virgil van Dijk, Matty Cash, Cole Palmer, Semenyo. He had a good game week 1, obviously Semenyo. You did have McNeil in there. I think you switched him out.
I've switched McNeil with Declan Rice.
Declan Rice, okay.
And Hudson-Odoi has come out for Elliot Anderson.
Okay, so this is all, and this was since you sent me this last night. So there's lots of changes going on with Jimmy's team.
Still early in the week.
As a serious manager, I was sitting up racking my brain, so I had to make them tough decisions and not to.
You captained Haaland.
Yes.
Sensible. Wood and Bowen are your starting 11 so far. What's the? I dare to ask if there is any logic after a week 2 wild card. But talk us through, Jim.
Talk for why I used the wild card.
No, just we've already talked. No, I want to know.
Oh, my side.
What is your thinking on the players you're picking? Why the changes since yesterday?
Because Dwight McNeil didn't start, and I have to have starters in my team. So
Right.
that's why I stuck Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice has got goals and assists in him.
Yeah.
Elliot Anderson was fantastic the other day, him and Gibbs White behind Chris Wood. That's why I put him in for Hudson-Odoi. I think I've got more chance of getting something with them two in the side than what I have with McNeil and Hudson-Odoi. No disrespect to them two if they're watching, but I think I've got better of a chance. And you've got to be foolish not to captain Ireland. He's going to score goals regardless. I was disappointed with Cole Palmer against Crystal Palace. He was going to get at least a goal or assist, but he let me right down there, and he was my vice captain as well. So fuming with him.
All right, let's have a quick look at mine if we can.
Yes, we can indeed.
Now, obviously, there's been evasive measures after my last place finished out of the 5 of us, including Bully. I've done double transfers here, so I've taken out Marmouche because I realised that I was playing dangerously with Pep Roulette and I lost, which was a foolish error on my part. Taking Conser out as well for the reasons that we've already talked about. He's unavailable after being sent off, so I put in Semenyo. A little bit of point chasing there, possibly, after he just got good points at the weekend, and Richards from Palace. So I've got Dubravka in goal,
Richards, De Kuyper,
Wan-Bissaka, Mo Salah, Cole Palmer, Semenyo, and Day is only just in there by the skin of his teeth, by the way, after the way Everton played yesterday. Gyökeres, he's only in there by the skin of his teeth. João Pedro and Thiago. So that's my...
I think you and Borley go out for drinks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is outrageous. The fact that Wan-Bissaka is playing against Chelsea and Kudus and Van de Ven
you
are
gotta
on
remember,
the bench
And your team
in a
is
game
rated-
like Man City Tottenham,
Yeah.
and it's rated 91%.
This makes no sense. You've got Gyökeres, who I don't think is going to score a goal for a while. You've got Thiago, who is playing for a Brentford team who is dreadful.
Don't get me wrong. Okay, hear me out here. This isn't game week 1 unless you're playing a wild card, right? So I could only make a limited number of transfers.
But look at your players on the bench.
I've taken the -4. What are the,
You've taken a -4 and you've got Kudus on the bench.
I'll defend my... Yeah, but Kudus is playing Man City. Kudus and Van de Ven.
Wan-Bissaka's playing Chelsea.
I have zero faith in my club.
I'm not giving you tips furthermore. I'm not giving you no tips.
Well, you don't need to, because he's going to be hoisted by his own petard, his own foolish ways. He's going to make these mistakes with Borley at his side.
I would definitely swap Kudus for Thiago from that team, and I would definitely put Van de Ven in ahead of Wan-Bissaka.
Yes.
But I shouldn't be
put
giving you those
Tosin in,
tips. And you've taken a -4. Tosin, I don't think he's starting.
I will say I haven't finalised the
Still
transfers.
get more points than Wan-Bissaka.
So again, it is
Possibly, he might be on a minus come this game.
It is only Tuesday. It's my draft. I haven't actually clicked the confirm transfers button yet. So I am very much thinking that I'm going to have Semenyo in for Marmouche, and then Richards in.
I think Semenyo makes a lot of sense. He's a very good
Well,
player.
look, you three might be mocking me, but
And you're
Borley
saving money.
believes
61
that
points.
I'm going to have 61 points, which is only 1 point behind him.
Yeah.
Borley's
Listen, how did he do first week?
I'm convinced that Borley is you in a mirror, Dave.
Yes, I did build Borley. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
I'm getting kind
I
of
agree,
Michael
Borley.
Jackson,
Man in the
Gerard
mirror.
Houdin vibe.
I'm
He's
hearing
gonna
it in the
laugh you in the back
background.
eventually and take your job.
That nasty
think
Sean,
so?
Yeah.
he'll never do well. Yes, I agree. Even
Yes.
though he went top, yes, no, he won't do well. I agree, Borley.
And he's saving money in the bank. Again, he's skimming for money.
Okay,
exactly.
I want to
1.4
clarify
million.
this from last week,
Go on.
because I was accused last week of being Daniel Levy-esque in my thriftiness.
Yes.
My team was 100 exactly. I did make a couple of changes. I took out Isak, obviously, and put in Salah, but basically I was on 100 by the week. The only reason I've got 1.5 or 1.4 in the bank is because Semenyo is cheaper than Marmouche.
Well, considering that he's only gone up by he's gone up by 0.1, so you've obviously everyone's missed a trick on Semenyo at 7 million, but he obviously looks like a good transfer into the side. He was dangerous last year, and he just continued to be more dangerous again.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll see how we go. But Bully's very confident that me and him have got this in the bag. So we'll see how we. Although we are all within. Lowest there was 57. Sean, Bally the highest on 62, I think. So we're all within 5 points of each other. He's kind of sitting on the fence here.
Normally a normal game week of 60 points, I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I think, sure, yeah.
Or you could wildcard.
Yeah.
Get 61. Let's take a look at this weekend's fixtures. Another exciting week in the Premier League. Friday night, it's the battle of this couch. It's West Ham versus Chelsea. Everyone confident?
Nope.
No?
No, not at all. I think if we keep it to single figures, we'll be very, very lucky.
Okay. So you'll predict if you think there's a solid chance it's the worst
That's
result in the
nil-nil.
history of the Premier
Got
League.
0-0 written all over it. 0-0 written all over it.
All right, let's see. Saturday, Man City, Tottenham. Yeah, that could be double figures as well at lunchtime. Brentford and Villa. Burnley, Sunderland. And Arsenal against Leeds is the 5:30 game. Sunday, Crystal Palace against Forest. That's a bit of a grudge match at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to have some bite to it.
2 o'clock Sunday. Everton against Brighton as well at 2 o'clock. The 4:30 game is Fulham hosting Manchester United. And it's Newcastle-Liverpool on Monday night, which I didn't realise.
They're always fun games.
Yeah.
I always remember those games from the 90s where it was like, 4-4. And
I think it's that season that you're wearing
Yeah, it would have been
the 4-3, wasn't it?
Yeah, you've done 2 seasons in a row.
There were
didn't
2 seasons where they were 4-3.
The Collymore goal at the end.
Yeah.
They were amazing. They were
The
so
original
good.
Aguero moment, wasn't it?
Oh, fantastic. And I hope that Crystal Palace start getting more derbies with teams that are nowhere near them. So if they can start hating Nottingham Forest in the way that they don't like Brighton, that'd be brilliant.
And there's the M23 derby.
Yes, as they call it. Yes,
I didn't know this until recently, right? Apparently, I can't remember which way around it is. I think it's Palace think that Brighton call themselves the Seagulls because it rhymes with eagles, and they're trolling them.
Is that true?
A Palace fan told me that they've copied our name, haven't they?
I thought it was one of them had either an eagle or a seagull, and the other side nicked it, and I think that was where it.
So there is some folk tale here.
I've never heard that before from any Palace fans. I've only ever heard it was sort of to do with Terry Venables and whoever the manager was at Brighton. They didn't like each other, and then it became a rivalry. It was a bit weird. Sort of weird rivalry.
I mean, I think it's perfectly understandable for Brighton to call themselves the Seagulls. If you've ever been to Brighton,
more than Crystal Palace, the Eagles.
Yes,
because there are no Eagles in Crystal Palace, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it's your fault, Palace.
No, they're all in Croydon.
Yeah, they're all in Croydon.
Let's relegate you out of another European competition. Yeah.
You have to go to the Intertoto Cup.
Yeah, you're misdescribing the flora and fauna of your own postcode. That's outrageous. Speaking of outrageous, it's that time of the show we can't put it off any longer. This is, as I say, the unfortunate Arsenal vessel I've been drinking out of throughout the evening, throughout the show here. And I had to go over to the Emirates Stadium earlier today to pick it up. So for the one and only time we will ever do this, let's review the footage. Yes, hello everybody. I have arrived in a very unkempt section of London. As you can see, they're hilarious with their puns on the advertising boards, and a wannabe little Wembley Stadium in front of me, desperate for attention. This is a horrible place to be. I feel like I'm in Mordor. Do you know what I mean? I've come to like enemy territory. So let's get this over with. I think this might be the goofiest name for a club shop that I've ever seen. Embarrassing. Well, sadly, they didn't have any mugs whatsoever, so I've got to get, in typical Arsenal fashion, a bottle. You get it? Arsenal bottles. So that's funny. This was awful. This was the worst day of my life. Thanks, everybody. Just a really rubbish Ledley King.
They had loads
of mugs.
They had loads of mugs.
I think you just wanted to keep that for when you go on a run.
Yeah, clearly.
I didn't see the mugs, and I just thought I can make bottle jokes throughout the rest of the season if we have an Arsenal bottle.
That is true.
Yeah.
But what I would also say is that you started that off by saying that the area of Islington isn't very nice. have you been to Tottenham?
Of course I've been to Tottenham.
I lived in Tottenham.
Yeah.
I lived off what was known as the Murder Mile.
Yes.
A week after I moved out of my place in Tottenham, somebody was shot. Not in the middle of the night, no, on a Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. That's how dangerous. I was followed home 3 times. I was nearly mugged twice in Tottenham. It was a terrible 6 months of my life. 6 months, that's all it was.
Let me tell you this. There was litter on the floor.
All right, now that is worse.
Yeah, in Islington.
No, that is much worse.
It was
actually.
disgusting. I almost slipped on a crisp packet.
That's because the blood on the floor that I regularly saw in Tottenham was actually all right.
Yeah, but that
because that just got
congeals.
soaked
That's
up by
not-
the rain.
It doesn't get slippery.
Are you sure that wasn't you killing a boy?
I did kill a boy. That's not just Tottenham. I have to do that. I have to move around quite a lot.
So you are personally responsible for the crime rate in Tottenham
Oh, yeah.
during those 6 months.
Contributional, yeah.
But they let me do it.
Yeah.
I got away with it, didn't I?
Right, well, I've made an executive decision, by the way, having had to suffer through that awful trip. By the way, what was that training kit? Joseph
was
and the
awful.
Technicolor Dreamcoat.
I hate to. I kind of liked it
Of course you did.
because I'm a hipster.
Yeah, terrible.
What can I say?
I've decided I'm choosing the forfeit this week because...
You didn't like my suggestions last week? Betray an old friend?
No. I said strictly no murder.
No, I just said betray an old friend.
Oh, okay.
In a very deep way, though.
Yeah, okay.
In a way that is unforgivable.
So this is what we're doing next week. We're going to find, so whoever comes last next week, we're going to find the hottest hot sauce that we can. The loser will have to eat a good portion of it and then immediately be the person who reads the coming weekend's fixtures. They can do that job for me.
Fantastic.
And it will not be me because I refuse to lose 2 weeks in a row.
But we have to consider your -4.
Yes, I will lose 4 points.
Yes, you will lose 4 points.
So
yeah.
he's already on
No, he's
-4.
already on -4.
Yeah.
You didn't think about that one, Dave.
I'm giving you a head. Well, if I go with, I haven't confirmed my 2 transfers. I could yet do a Sean and completely revamp my entire plan.
Are we going for De Bomb?
What?
De Bomb,
Oh,
the
not a
hot sauce
chance.
De Bomb. Because De Bomb,
my
I would
God.
say,
Well-
the closest thing to that is like a flick knife being opened inside your own
Yes.
mouth.
Okay.
And that's
Like in Tottenham.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
do in Tottenham.
Oi,
No, it's not
Well,
nice.
look,
I've done it before and it's not good.
No.
I came up with this in a moment of pure spite and rage immediately after getting back from the Emirates.
You're most
today.
likely to do it, Dave.
No, I'm not. 'cause
This is
that's-
Or we can get a hot
this
ones
is-
one.
This is like a masochism.
No, I don't think there's any hubris involved because I have a supercomputer on my side who says that Sean, although he's very funny, according to Bally, is just doesn't have it in him. So we'll see how we go.
Apparently so.
We will find out. Is anyone planning on... By the way, there's one stat I wanted to say before we go. I didn't say this earlier. There are, of the 10.5 million, I think it is now, FPL managers this week, there are 3 of them, 3 managers, who triple captained Ballard
Yeah.
from Sunderland. Sunderland's centre-back, who then got 17 points, so they got 51 points by using one of their chips
I
in...
wish they would have phoned
week
Graham
1.
Potter and told them what they was doing.
Yeah.
There's always one of them.
Outrageous.
Yeah, I find
Who
it
does
crazy.
that? Who goes, oh, it's week 1, I'll triple captain a Sunderland.
Oh, that's a lovely little
So
crown
if you
there.
look at the
you go.
fixtures,
Crown
you see,
for the first
Where
week.
did that come from?
I saw it there and I thought, I'm top this
Did
week.
you bring that?
There's a few hats.
I didn't bring it myself, but yes,
Sean has invested
Top after the first
thousands of
week.
pounds. Those are real
Ruby
rubies
diamonds.
Yeah, yeah.
as well.
yes.
And
It's
he's
the
brought
new
that with him.
Rosebud Lord of the Board crown, that.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. All right, one more reminder before we go. Don't forget you can join our league if you want to join the -4 league. And that would help, but that would mean maybe one of us doesn't come last, me specifically. So HYL8TK is the join code. Remember, we are at -4 FPL show on Facebook, on X, on Insta, and on TikTok. Thank you very much for joining us. Gentlemen, prepare your taste buds for next week. One of us will be eating that hot sauce and then going through the fixtures. But in the meantime, for everyone here on the panel, thank you very much for joining us on -4.